Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the In Deep on the Delta fishing report this week. We're going to be doing the report for November 19th. You can see the weather conditions are changing out here, and I am super happy this week to have a couple of friends helping me out, and that is Hook, Line, and Sinker in Oakley and Outdoor Sportsman in Stockton. Two of the premier tackle shops here on the Delta. They have literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people coming through their door every week. They talk fishing every day. I'm going to be in contact with them weekly, and I'll be relaying the information that I get from these shops to you guys. So I think we're going to have a much better idea of what's going on the entire Delta. And I'd like to talk a little bit about these two shops before I get into the report. We're lucky to have really top quality shops like the Hook, Line, and Sinker and Outdoor Sportsman. They are locally owned, they hire local people, and they have the best local knowledge. So I'd just like to say everybody knows what we're going through in this these troubled times, I guess we might call it. These guys are local guys, and I think we really need to pull together to support them. So again, Hook, Line, and Sinker, they're at 3100 Main Street in Oakley. And I want to make sure I get the address right for Outdoor Sportsman, and they are at 4969 West Lane. Go in, say hi, tell them you're watching the In Deep on the Delta report, and you appreciate them taking the time to relay the information to me. Let's get going with the report here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the conditions. Morning time, 55 degree water temperature. If it's a really sunny day, it may go up a degree, but we're talking in midday, we're talking about 55 degree temperatures, and it's dropping slowly but surely. In the next week or two, it's going to be down there closer to 50 degrees. So temperatures are dropping. Clarity is still good, anywhere from 5 to 10 or even 12 feet. Really good visibility. Depending on the day that you're out here, what's happening with the weather, it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but conditions are good, so no reason not to be out here trying to catch some fish. Let's get on with the report, and first of all, we'll talk about what Hook, Line, and Sinker reported, and we'll start off with stripers. It's on an upswing. There's pretty good numbers of schoolies. Early in the day and late in the day, a lot of people are taking them on top waters. Midday, they're using glide baits and swim baits. They're trolling. The fish are better quality midday. Now on the bass side, slow, but again, the trend is a little better than it was the last few weeks. We've got better tides, so I'm thinking that that's probably pushed the largemouth into a little better bite. Largemouth bass, they're looking for hydrilla with clean bottom and grass flats. Fishing hasn't been great, but it's slow to on the upswing. Jerk baits, square bills, and one thing that I haven't been throwing is spinner baits. They're using them in white. They're getting lots of small fish, just like everyone else, with a few fish, few of the keeper fish, and fish up to about 3 or 4 pounds maybe in the mix. One thing they are saying, while most people are throwing bait fish imitations, the guys that have fish in the live well are seeing a lot of crawdads, regurgitated pieces of crawdad, and something to think about, the fish are eating crawdads. They're also chasing bait fish. That is the report from Hook, Line, and Sinker. Outdoor Sportsman, again, largemouth bass, slow. Most of their clients are getting them on drop shot, flipping, and also a jerk bait. So the jerk bait is kind of a common theme here. The local weights of local tournaments they have been reporting are really low. So if you're not coming out here and really cleaning house, don't worry about it. It's just that time of year, and it's getting tougher and tougher. Stripers, they're talking about Georgiana Slough, low tide, top water, schoolies, high tide, glide baits, and swim baits are getting the bigger fish. So that's pretty consistent. I would kind of take that, and if you're going after stripers, top water in the morning, glide baits in the afternoon, and that's it. It's kind of a report that's on the upswing. Now my report, this is where it's going to get real interesting. And before I really give up my report, I'm going to show you about 15 to 20 seconds of underwater footage that I have, and then I'll tell you what I've been doing. Okay, you've seen that footage and you probably think I've done pretty well, and you'd be right. I've had a very good week. I was out at the dock Saturday, didn't do any fishing. I was just picking up the dock talk, and the dock talk was Saturday that the largemouth bass bite was improving. Talked to a couple people that did well on crankbaits, jerk baits, and again worms. I mean, it's pretty kind of a thing right now, I guess. So I went out Sunday, and that's when I did that filming. I found just huge numbers of fish on one particular bank, and on a couple of different particular banks, really good numbers of fish. Not like what you've seen in that underwater footage, but just good numbers of fish. Here's what I did differently. The last couple weeks I've been not struggling, but catching a lot of fish, a lot of dinks, and struggling to get maybe 6, 7, 8 keeper to 2.5 pound fish in the course of a day, and thinking that I was really happy. This is what I was doing. I was going up and down the channel and fishing the main channel and fishing into the sloughs. Wasn't working out real well for me, so I changed my approach and I started fishing the backs of the sloughs, moving towards the main channel. Now, they're not all the way in the backs of the sloughs, but they're kind of anywhere from a quarter mile to a couple miles out from the backs of sloughs. I found the fish in 6 to 8 feet of water. I found them in clean hydrilla where there was a hard bottom, where the hydrilla wasn't growing, where we had some channels. That's where the fish were, just like what you were seeing in the video. That's where I found all the fish. Now, my go-to bait was a worm, and I fished it both weightless, wacky, Nico, god darn it, weightless, wacky, Nico, and T-rig. Green pumpkin, blacks, and watermelon, standard colors. It didn't matter. It just, you're fishing the situation more than the fish, actually. I did get a few fish on Kitex with an underspin. I did really well one morning on topwaters, poppers, small walking style baits like the River to Sea Bubble Walker. Had about a 45-minute bite one morning, and we're talking right at dark, and I think I caught a dozen fish. 3 of them were undersized. The other ones were between 2.5 and 3.5 pounds. Haven't got anything over 4 pounds, but it was a great topwater morning bite. 55-degree water, they were hitting topwaters. Now, some of the things that I haven't been doing real well on, crankbaits, and I fish the Biggie, square bill. I actually put on tactical bass and tactical crank. That looked really good, but I just didn't get bit on it. So that's something that I'm going to be trying. I have been throwing an S-waver, thinking that I might get a striper or a big largemouth. That hasn't worked for me, and I am still on the jerk baits, but not really producing for me. And again, my report may be a little skewed because, as you can see, I found a mother load of fish. So here's my deal if you're fishing largemouth bass this week. I would start at the backs of sloughs and work my way to the channel. Look for 6 to 9 or 10 feet of water. Keep your eye on the water. Look for those channels because they're really using them, especially when the sun comes out. I think they're coming out of the hydrilla and just wanting to get in the sun a little bit. Even though the water's not warming up, they're just getting that sunlight penetration, and I think that's what they're looking for before they go into the winter situation that we're going to have here in a couple weeks. And with that being said, I am super excited about the next couple weeks. I think we're sitting on a powder keg here. The fish want to bite. They're looking for a reason to bite. No one can guarantee you if that's going to happen, but I guarantee you if it does, the next couple weeks out here on the Delta could be absolute crime scene. Remember, next week is Thanksgiving. I'm going to be giving a report on Wednesday So those of you who may have a 4-day weekend, you'll have something to go by if you're going to be fishing after Thanksgiving. My boat's going to be in the shop for a day. I'll try to get out hopefully at least once to give you a report on what I've been doing. Again, if you like the report, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you send me something saying, hey, you're covering stuff, but I want to hear this, this, and this. Let me know. I'm changing the report as I go. Make sure you get into Outdoor Sportsman, hook, line, and sinker. Let them know you're watching the report. Tell them you're really happy that they're working with me and they're taking the time to feed information. So with that, thanks for watching. Come on out in the Delta. It's beautiful out here. The fish are biting. It's slow. Just stay on them. You'll catch fish. And hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. Okay, a little bonus tip that I may have forgot in my report. I'm using a 5-inch Wacky Rig Senko with a fairly heavy-weighted Neko weight. Here's the deal. I've been getting a lot of fish while this is stuck in the hydrilla, and I'm working it through, and as soon as it pops through, I get that bite, I catch a fish, I'm thinking, oh man, that was really lucky. Well, I'll tell you, that's not luck, that is a technique. If it's getting hung up in the hydrilla, don't really try to jerk it out of there, just pop it through and see if something comes up and picks it up. That's been working for me.